Hello and welcome to another edition of Cranky Motorsports. This is actually footage from my 2024 Pennsylvania Plow Day trip. It took me a long time to put this out because I was really disappointed. I took what I thought was a lot of good footage with my GoPro, and in actuality what ended up happening was most of the time the GoPro was pointed at the top of my exhaust stack and at the sky. So again, it took me a while to put all this footage together. It was a pretty epic trip. My whole family came with me again this year, and as you'll see at the very end of the video, I had a whole bunch of trouble with my truck again. So let's roll right into it. Jake and Emma's tractors, the 679, GT18, which I still have to put the tote box on the front of it, and the D10S. And I am all strapped down. Just got to fill up my gas cans with some gas, make sure my truck's topped off, and yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll, boys. Anyone that watched my Pennsylvania Plow Day trip from 2023 might remember that throughout the trip home, I was having trouble with my truck going into a low boost mode where the truck would basically have the check engine light turn on and the wrench flash on the dash, and it would cut all the boost out of it. And I really didn't know what was going on at the time, and actually I didn't figure out what was wrong until well after I got home from this trip. But the same thing was happening this time down when I got partway through New York. When I was starting to climb hills, the engine would basically cut all the boost out, and then I'm pulling hills in like second and third gear at 6,000 RPM, which was not great. Get this into high second now. I gotta shove it into second. The gear's getting rounded off. It keeps popping out, but it'll do third low. Fine. 16-inch plow digs so deep though.
We can't get this one to dig. I don't know why.
Bolter wheel maybe?
Yeah, that's not what it is.
all in all, it was a great trip. Met up with a bunch of people from the Sears Suburban Backyard Tractor Club. Chewman69, who actually started the club, he was there, and Jeffrey Katera from Katera's Collection, Hugh, my buddy from Connecticut, Brandon, my buddy from Pennsylvania, Austin flew out from Minnesota, and Jake, who lives close to me, also drove down, as well as a couple other guys that live pretty close to me and are into Cub Cadets and John Deeres and stuff like that. But overall, despite all the trouble I was having with my truck and a near mishap with my son almost falling off his tractor and running himself over, overall, it was a fantastic trip. And I look forward to what 2025 brings. maybe I'll bring different tractors next year, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you might see that I also have a new tow rig, so check it out. Well, we made her home safe from Pennsylvania. It was a heck of a trip. I didn't get pictures or video of it, but I pulled in the field and sunk my truck almost up to the axles immediately. They warned me that the parking area was wet and mushy, and I drove into it anyway, you know, pretty good throttle, and it just sunk right in. So I had to get pulled out with a brand new Raptor and a Yank towing rope, which got to give Yank a lot of credit. Those tow ropes are freaking awesome. But that pulled me out. The plowing went well. I got a lot of good footage. My truck had quite a few issues. So last year, if you remember in the video after the PA Plow Day last year, I had issues with my truck going into limp mode. The wrench on the dash was flashing and the check engine light was flashing. Well, about halfway down, that happened again, and the whole ride back I was having issues. So basically what it does is when the wrench light comes on the dash, I think it's a over boost condition, and it basically bypasses the turbos. So what you're doing is running a tiny 2.7 liter V6 with no turbos on the highway, pulling roughly 6,500 pounds on the trailer. And the truck did not like it. So on the way home, I was having trouble even keeping like 65 to 70 miles an hour. The thing was in second and third gear up long hills, and I'd have to pull over off the side of the road, shut it off, start it up again, and then the code would clear and it would go for another so many miles and then happen again. So I got to figure out what the heck's going on. I mean, I can't complain too much. I've had this truck for 8 years now. I bought it brand new, and it has done everything I've asked it to do. I have not given this truck a single kind mile since I bought it. So, but I'm at the point now where I got to try to figure out what's wrong. I don't know if the cats are plugged and that's what's causing too much back pressure at the turbos. That's a possibility. The wastegate valve on the turbos seem to be a little bit loose, like the shaft going through the turbo housing is a little bit loose, so I may need to replace the turbos or have them rebuilt. But either way, I'm probably looking at about $1,400 to $1,600, or maybe a little bit more just in parts. And then that's if I do the work on it, just to change the cats and the turbos and see if that fixes the problem. But also at the point now where doing trips like this, the truck's a little bit too small for my family. My kids' knees are in the back of the driver's seat and the passenger seat, and even with the 6.5 foot bed on the truck, I have a toolbox in the back, and it seems like I don't really have enough room in the bed a lot of times. So I'm debating selling this guy and getting a 3/4 ton quad cab or a 3/4 ton Yukon or Suburban or something like that to replace this. That way I have a lot more room inside the truck, and I have a heavier duty suspension, because as you can see, this thing has all the squat, and that's with an add-a-leaf in the back of the truck, and me trying to backload the trailer so most of the weight's on the rear end of it, not on the tongue. But it's still a half-ton pickup. I mean, it still did pretty good. I'm not complaining about it, but it might be time for me to get a new truck after 8 years of driving this thing. And I'm sad about that, because this truck has been absolutely phenomenal. It has not ever really let me down, other than the limp mode, but it's never left me stranded. And it's just been a great truck, but it might be time to get a new one. So that's going to end out the PA Plow Day 2024 video. It was an epic trip, and I hope you enjoy the footage that's in here. Until next year, met up with Matt from the Sears Suburban Backyard Tractor Club. He's always good to deal with. Jeffrey Katera from Katera's Collection. I bought more stuff off of him. So I bought another rear grader blade down there. I bought an 8-inch moldboard plow off of him. And he gave me some wheel weights and a whole bunch of Sears 6-inch or 5.5-inch wide wheels, so I can always do duals and stuff if I want to again. But it was an epic trip. It was really good. The dirt was good. The plowing was good. A lot of soybean and like winter grass and stuff like that plowed up pretty well. So thanks again for watching another edition of Cranky Motorsports. And I hope you join me again for later versions of this. This is going to be a pretty extended video. I know that for a fact. So enjoy, and come back again in the future for more videos. So about a week later, I cleaned up my 2016 F-150. I repainted the front bumper, did a little bit of detail work, took all my stuff out of the interior, and got it ready to say goodbye. It was a hard decision. I really didn't want to get rid of this truck, but found a suitable replacement for it. And after a couple of weeks, I made the deal. So now what I have is a 2013 F-150 FX4 with a 5-liter Coyote engine, dual exhaust, well, mock dual exhaust, and this is my new tow rig. I'll have a video coming up for that thing shortly.